What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Don Rico back at it once again. And I'm not going to take long in this one. It's just some thoughts that I've been kind of mulling over for the past few days. And I haven't dropped any content for the past few days because, I kind of do my own research and my study. And one of the main things I research and study is the psychology of people and the trend of the culture. And the reason why I study these things is because it gives me a better idea of what it is that I want to come to you guys for, but it also gives me a greater degree of understanding in terms of what it is that I need to face within myself and what it is I can leverage from the culture and from the way things are going in today's world to propel myself forward to even greater heights. And when I have this spark of motivation and or I'm inspired, this is when I come to you guys and I have the conversation. And again, the point of my channel isn't really to necessarily give advice, or it's just to give my perspective on certain things. You may disagree, you may see it differently, but the reason why I come to you guys with these things is because, again, this is a process for me. This is more for me than it is for anything else, because I see it as one big process. I see it as a big process in order for me to be a greater and more effective communicator, to increase my presence on the camera, and or to get a better sense of understanding of the events in today's world and how this translates into the things that I talk about on a regular basis, especially on this channel. And one of the things I talk about most importantly on this channel, is the fact that we're in a class warfare. That's probably the biggest thing that I talk about because everybody seems to be distracted, which leads me to today's topic. And I've already kind of released a short on this, but I just kind of want to extrapolate this a bit further in a longer form content. This is actually not even going to be long. And what I want to talk about is I don't understand, despite all that's going on with layoffs, with the world events, people not liking where certain things are going, certain directions are going, or maybe they disagree with something, or maybe they had gone through something in their personal lives. Regardless of the situation or circumstance, I honestly don't even believe that this is something that you should bring public, but many people do. And what I want to talk about is just, I don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, why, for the love of God, you would just simply complain about your undesirable situation / circumstances. I don't understand it. And the reason why I don't understand it is because, think about it from a practical perspective, from a practical standpoint. Think about it, honestly. What good will complaining do for you? I'll wait. You see, it's one thing to just vent and air out whatever dirty laundry, whatever laundry you have out, whether it be in your personal life, your professional life, etc. It's one thing to air it out on the internet. It's a whole nother thing to just complain about it and air it out and then just not expect any solutions. Like, what is the point? Tell me, what is the point of complaining or whining about what's going on in the world and what's going on in your life if it's not solutions based? Because all I hear is just a bunch of crying. It's just a bunch of people bitching online about undesirable circumstances / situations. And they just cry and complain about these things. I'm telling you, I've seen these videos. I've seen it in little TikTok videos. I don't even have a TikTok, but I've seen them. I've seen them online, even on here, on YouTube, on this platform. And it's just, it amazes me. And it amazes me because, again, from a practical perspective and a practical standpoint, I don't understand what the net benefit is. I don't see what a net positive is because you're just airing that out. You're not doing anything about it. No action is being taken. It's not solutions oriented. What good is complaining going to do for you? Because at the end of the day, you're still going to have to do it, regardless. You're still going to have to find a solution. Why come out and complain about it? And it may seem like me even complaining about people who are complaining, but I'm not. I'm addressing the fact that people just come on the internet and these platforms and they put this content out for public opinion and for public review. And they look crazy in my view because you're just airing out stuff and you're just complaining and you're not offering any type of solutions, nor are you even open to any solutions. You might think, oh, the system is set against you. Oh, it's this person's fault. Oh, it's these people's fault. Oh, it's these people who believe in this political party's fault. Oh, it's always somebody else's fault except for yours. Like, for some reason, you can't take accountability, and it's crazy. Even people, listen, I see this all the time in people at my own place of work, and people at the gym, people outside of work, even out in the public streets and daily life. There are a lot of people who just cannot take accountability. And it's much easier to complain and point out the window instead of looking in the mirror. What you need to understand is you're your own greatest solution, and you're also your own greatest problem. You are standing in your own way, but you are also your own greatest solution. The solution is extreme ownership, because regardless, you're responsible. If it affects you, it's still your responsibility, regardless of fault. It's still your responsibility. That's what separates people who are, in my view, that's what separates people who are extremely successful from pretty much everyone else, because everybody else, they just complain. Most people just complain and they say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, but I don't have this, oh, that. Okay, we don't care. There's a right way of doing things, there's a wrong way of doing things, there's a proper way of doing things, and there's a proper way of looking at things, but you don't want to look at things the proper way because it's much easier to point fingers and to say it's that person's fault, or it's this event's fault, or it's that thing's fault. And it's just not true. Like, regardless, even if it was directly their fault, tell me about it. What are you going to do about it? Because at the end of the day, the problem still has to be addressed and you have to solve it. Complaining is not going to do you any good. It's just going to make you weak. It's going to make you look weak. It's going to make you sound weak. And you're going to be the type of person, especially as a man, you're going to be the type of person who projects himself as someone who's not confident in his own ability to solve problems, A, and B, you just want people to save you and solve problems for you. You're not willing to take the initiative to figure it out yourself because you're unwilling to take ownership of the situation. Complaining, it's sometimes it's just kind of hilarious to me. And I'm going to end it with this. It's just hilarious to me that people come online and they just complain about the going-ons in their life. For what? What, you want some sympathy? You want some views? You want some likes? You want some comments of people saying, oh, I feel sorry for you. Oh, it's going to be okay. Yeah, you were right. Yeah, they are this. They are that. Like, don't give me your pity. I don't want it. I don't want it, because regardless, at the end of the day, whether you like me or not, whether you like my viewpoints, my perspectives or not, I'm still going to be 100% authentic, and I'm still going to take ownership of everything, my successes, my failures, and I'm not just going to air out all my nonsense for the internet for the sake of complaining without any solutions. And the solution to this one is simple. Take ownership and do the work regardless, because at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility. Complaining about it is going to do you no good. You want sympathy? Go cry me a river. But if you're about that work, if you're about handling biz, you're just going to do it regardless. Because it rains on the just and the unjust. Nobody cares and nobody's coming to save you. And you should look at that as a good thing, because you now have the opportunity to be your own superhero. Save yourself first. And then once you reach this position of power, and this is how I view it, then and only then can you give someone the blueprint in the game and how it is they can be their own great superheroes. That's how I see it. But you're not going to do that by complaining. You're not going to do that by complaining. And you're not going to get any sympathy from people like me if you're just going online and complain. Grow up and just handle your business. Just handle biz, all right? It's mind-boggling to me. And it's actually kind of low-key exhausting. But it's also kind of hilarious, too, to see a bunch of people just admitting to their own weaknesses. It's okay to have a moment of vulnerability, but it's just one thing to also just kind of cry and complain about it when you know that it just has to be adjusted regardless. So I just don't see the value in complaining. I really don't. It's not solutions oriented and action is not taking place. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Go out there, do the work, but stop bitching because nobody cares. All right? Deuces.